Replacing a alternator on a 2008 Toyota Sienna. Toyota tells you to take apart the whole shooting works here. And the whole front end. You can get by without doing all that. So it's just quick of what to do. I've already got it out and the new one installed. So it's just to show you what the shortcuts are basically. So of course disconnect the battery. There's other videos that tell you how to take the serpentine belt off, but it helps if you take the wheel off. And there's a splash guard there you take off for access to it. So once the belt is off, you gotta loosen up a few things basically. So you want to get this loose, so you take off, there's 3 bolts on top here. 1, 2, 3. There's a bolt here for the intake, which sits on top of here and just slides into this. There is a bolt underneath here for this piece, and a bolt here for this to loosen up these hoses. You want to take off this. You can take off both hoses. I only had to take off one, but there's a hose that loops from here to here. This is the short piece. Take that off so you can have better access. Take off the heat shield because you got to get to a 3rd bolt on the alternator. So there's 3 bolts on the heat shield. 1, 2, and 3 down there. Take off the bolt that holds this in place here, so you can move that out of the way. Of course, disconnect the electrical from your alternator. There's a bolt and a plug. Carefully don't break the plug. Then loosen up the wiring harness so you can move that around. So that sits there. And take off this hose here for the radiator coolant, and just push that aside. You'll lose a little bit of coolant, but not that much. And then this piece, there's a bracket down here. Take that off, so this has some wiggle room. There's a little clip here, so you got some room to move. And I think that's all the stuff you have to loosen up. Then you can kind of pull this back. And the alternator's got kind of a gotcha. It's got 3 bolts on it. So there's the top one and the back one. The back one's not too bad to get to. You have to sneak in around the back, but that's not that bad. What gets you is there's a bracket on the back end of this that comes off of here into the engine block. And let's try to get a close up of that. So I can get down here. The bracket bolt is right there. Just get my finger if I can. Back up. Bracket bolt is there. There's one there, and then there's one on the alternator like I showed you on the old one. And the tricky part is there's also a wire harness attached to that bracket. So what I had to do is take off the bolt that's mounted to the engine bolt, and then the whole alternator would move. And then you could get to the bolt that went in sideways into the alternator to get that bracket off. And then the bracket and the wire harness just stayed there loose while you monkeyed the alternator out. The alternator then does come out. It still takes some monkeying around because this wire harness is so tight. And you got to kind of pull this back while you're doing it, so it's nice to have 4 hands if you got it, so people can help. But you kind of twist it sideways and work it out. So that's hopefully the shortcut to doing alternator on a 2008 Toyota Sienna without taking the whole headlight and grille parts apart. Hope this helped. I don't think I forgot anything, but if I did, I'll add another video.